if someone is very muscular, has a very low amount of fat in their body, is that true that there are that kind of people who cannot float in the water, that they really struggle and they have to move forward, they have to swim forward, otherwise they would just sink?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different body composition. Everybody just naturally will float better or worse in the water. I'm someone that doesn't have a lot of fat on me, but I do float quite well because I know how to manipulate my body in the water to be in a position where I'm floating well. And it's very hard to just float there and not move. Everyone struggles with that, no matter what your body composition is. You know, the higher fat percentage, fat floats better than muscle essentially. So depending on how much you have of each, you're going to sit differently in the water. But it's understanding the position you should be in the water that's going to help you float. So trying to stay as high as you can. As soon as you start moving forward, you make it easier for yourself. But yeah, everyone, you know, I've taught swimmers to swim for the first time and their legs are just sinking, and sometimes they're really fit and they're like, well, why can't I float in the water? And it's like, well, some people are just going to naturally struggle with that more. And you just got to understand kind of how to move your body through the water, because as soon as you start moving forward, it becomes easier for you. You can start to correct your technique, but some people unfortunately do just float better than others, and it's hard. It's almost unfair for some people because they really struggle with it. But it's understanding how to move your body, so like where your head is compared to your feet. If your feet are at the bottom of the pool, 9 times out of 10 your head is way too high. You work on like an axis, so get your head down, get your feet up, would be my suggestion.
So it's not impossible,
it's not impossible, but some people are suited to it more than others. But you know, I'm very lucky that I don't have much fat on me, but I still able to float quite well.
Since you're teaching others, did you notice some commonalities? What are the most common things people struggle with?
Number one thing that people struggle with when they're learning to swim is the breathing. It's the first hurdle that people come to. They say, I'm out of breath, or I don't know when to breathe. So it's either, you know, how they're breathing or when they're breathing. So I think that is the first thing I try and fix with a lot of swimmers, especially a lot of adult swimmers, is they go in. And I think it's because when you go in, you're limited to when you can breathe. So when your head is in the water and you physically couldn't take air in because there's no air to breathe in, it's a really uncomfortable feeling. You have this like caveman instinct of like, I need to breathe and I don't like not being able to breathe. So when they do turn their head to take a breath, they gasp for air. And that's a really energy consuming way to take in and breathe out air, is just holding your breath, panicking, increasing your stress, and then when you do turn to take a breath, you gasp for air. Like, it's a really bad way to do it. So it's just being comfortable with having your face in the water and being okay with not being able to breathe. And then when you do turn your head to breathe, is just breathing like we're breathing right now. You know, it doesn't have to be over exhaling, over inhaling. It can just be as normal and as casual as you can make it, because your breath has an immediate control over the mood and the stress that you're bringing. So you want to try and make swimming stress-free, so control your breathing, relax as much as you can. That's basically what I'm telling my clients and people that I'm trying to help, is control your breathing, don't panic. As soon as panic starts to set in, everything becomes harder. You become heavier. When you're tense, your shoulders, your neck, everything is tensed up because you're uncomfortable. Like we just spoke about, you're going to sink. So trying to just be comfortable being in the water, being comfortable with not being able to breathe, and then being controlled on when you can take that breath. So breathing is the number one thing that I find.